Hey guys, Matt here, at the Brewery. Happy Homebrew Wednesday. This is the first official pull, full pint of the pumpkin cream ale that I brewed with Wally a couple of weeks back. It's got a nice color on it. It's mostly a cream ale color, but it's got a bit of a pumpkiny, orangey sort of hue to it. It's not clear yet. It's probably going to be, a good couple of weeks before this really clears out nicely. I didn't purposely do anything funny to it. I put it through. Actually, no, I didn't even use the bouncer on this one. I just kegged it straight away. I didn't use any special agent or gelatin or anything in it. So I'm going to let this clear out on its own. But I've been eager to try this out. I cold crashed it last week, and then over the weekend, I think Saturday is when I actually kegged it. So it was forced carbonated. I did it for 24 hours at 30 psi, and then I just brought it down to the normal serving pressure, and it's been on the serving pressure since Sunday. So it's carbonated. It's probably not all the way there, but it's mostly there. So it's got a nice, refreshing, just like a nice cream ale sort of smell to it. I think I'm getting maybe a little bit of the hops in there. That certainly wasn't the showcase of this beer, so I didn't expect to get too much from that. The IBUs on this were very, very, very low. I think I wanted to say it was somewhere around 20. Getting maybe a little bit of the spices, not much. Again, it was intentionally subdued in the spice category. We didn't want it to be like a pumpkin spice bomb. It was supposed to be a cream ale with some highlights, just a little bit of notes to know that it's fall. With that, you get that nice pumpkin idea. You get the cinnamon, the nutmeg in there, but it's very, very faint. So I'm definitely getting some of that, but it is very faint. It was much more prominent when I transferred it, and it certainly has started to die down. Let's go ahead and get a taste. Cheers. Yeah, that is lovely. I think we did a good one with this Wally. This is kind of exactly what I was going after. I'd be curious to see how it kind of I don't want to say finalized because it's pretty much done, but I wanted to see how it kind of mellows out, molds together as these beers tend to do once they're finally in their final resting place in the keg and carbonating. Usually, within a few days after that, you can really see where it's kind of levels off. So I'd be curious to see where this kind of ends up when it's done. Just kind of done hanging around. Yeah, it's a real smooth beer. Real clean tasting. It has. You don't get a lot of the pumpkin, but we didn't use a lot of pumpkin spice, and you don't tend to, at least in my experience, don't tend to get a lot of the pumpkin flavor from pumpkin unless you add in a shit ton of it. We only added in 2 large cans of 100%, 100% canned pumpkin, and that gives it a little bit more of a vegetal, sort of squashy, like butternut squash, sort of that kind of taste to it. And the spices are what helps bring up what you expect to get out of a pumpkin beer or pumpkin spice. We used very little cinnamon, nutmeg. I don't think we used any ginger. We were thinking about it, but I don't think we did. And it was sweet orange peel. So I'm getting a little bit of that sweetness from that in the taste. Actually, sorry, it's definitely carbonated. Yeah, that's nice. I'm gonna have to take another pull of this for next week, and see how it's kind of coming along. But because my memory is horrible, I wanted to bring out my recipe so I can just kind of go through it quickly with you guys. I don't think I did this in the last video, so this way you guys have an idea of what this beer is. It's mostly 6-row. In my case, I did 10 pounds of 6-row. We have a pound of flaked corn in there, a half a pound of half a pound of carapils. I put roughly a half a pound of rice hulls. I just sort of dumped in half of a pound bag. So that's what that was. And of course, 2 large cans of the 100% pumpkin I use the Walmart brand. That's what I was able to get a hold of, and all that went into the mash. Hops that I use, and this is where we differed a bit. My hops, I did a quarter ounce of Waimea. They were really strong in the alpha acid content. It was 17.5% alpha acids, so that was my bittering. And then I used an ounce of lemon drop, something I've been looking to try, and I thought it would go good in a cream ale style, so I wanted to try that in this beer. I put that in late for the aroma and the flavor. Again, the adjuncts: sweet orange peel, cinnamon, nutmeg. We of course used a Whirlfloc tablet to help clear it out a bit. The yeast that was the other difference. I used Y yeast 1275. It's a Thames Valley Ale yeast. It's supposed to help with the maltiness of a beer. Supposed to make the beer a little bit more smooth, and sort of like more creamy and such. I used it in like a couple of porters, and I had it laying around, so I went ahead and made a starter and used it. Water profile on this one was pretty low. We didn't do a whole lot with the water. The numbers I was aiming for were calcium of 42, sulfate of 36, and chloride of 54. We did mash at 150, and my mash pH was 5.35. And I think Wally was very similar. I think we were both pretty close in all of our numbers. Again, the only difference between our two beers was he used, I think he used all Saaz hops in his, so I used different hops, and he used a different yeast. I believe the yeast he used was like a Safale dry lager yeast. Wally, you can comment on that and correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that's what he did. So there's going to be some slight differences. Everything else should be the same. And our brewing process was pretty much the same. We brewed together on Zoom. If you haven't seen that footage, go ahead and check it out. It's a separate video. And had a blast. It was cool to be able to brew with pumpkin again. The last time I brewed with pumpkin was probably, man, it must have been probably a good 4 or 5 years now. And I was using my cooler. I'm looking over there because I still have it. And I just remember stuck sparred, stuck mash, the whole 9 yards. I was expecting to get it on this system. I got a little bit of that going on. It definitely slowed down the works a bit, and I had to stir up the mash once. But once I had it all dialed in, I had no trouble. I'm loving this system. It's great, really efficient. Don't have any issues with the temperatures except for that probe issue I had. But that's that sort of thing's going to happen when you're dealing with electronics. Parts will go bad on you, from time to time. But brew day itself, no issues. Got that brew day, of course, coming up with Dennis. Probably we actually pushed it back a week because both of us have some things going on that week. I'm actually getting a dishwasher installed next week, so we've been waiting on that. It was something we bought back in the July 4th sale because I had a problem with our stove, and we had already replaced or we put in a refrigerator when we moved in here because it wasn't here, and we kind of started going along with that black stainless steel sort of look and feel. So we wanted everything to match. There's nothing really wrong with our current dishwasher, but it's just, it sticks out like a sore thumb when you have a brand new black stainless steel refrigerator that we bought a year ago, and I bought the same matching stove this year because we had issues with that over the summer, and just went ahead and decided to do the dishwasher and the microwave too because why not make them match? It wasn't expensive. I think the dishwasher was like $500 and the microwave was like 100 and something. So it just made sense just to make everything match. But anyway, we had some issues with it getting here because it was a special order. So here we are 3 months later and we're finally getting it. So we're looking forward to that and putting that to bed. What else is going on? We have our vacation coming up here at the end of the month. We're gonna try to go to Disney. We're DVC members. We're Disney Vacation Club members, so we have to use our points or rent them or do something with them. Otherwise, they're gone. And we didn't really use them last year. We ended up bunking with another family last year, so we didn't have to use them. So we haven't used them this year either because of the whole COVID nonsense. Disney was very, very nice to push our points, forward for us, so we didn't lose them. But they're only going to do that so long, and we definitely need to use them. So we finally, earlier in the year, we pushed off our vacation. We were originally supposed to go in the spring, but because of all this nonsense, we didn't. And we finally just pushed it off till towards the end of this year. So I love going in the fall. You get to do the Food and Wine Festival, and my birthday is that week, so it should be a good time. Um, Halloween in Disney is always fun. They always do it big. I don't know if they will this year, but it should be interesting to see how that whole thing goes. Um, we we had a friend go down there Labor Day weekend, and he gave us some comfort knowing that it's not as bad as we were thinking it would be. The crowds apparently are really low. There's next to no wait times on any of the rides, and they really limit the amount of people that are allowed to be in those places, the parks and the resorts and things. So shouldn't be too much of an issue. We're of course going to take our precautions. I mean, they recommend that you wear, well, they mandate that you wear the mask anyway. So we'll do that and just safe social distancing, that kind of sort of thing, and just playing it smart. I mean, that's all you can do. We can't live in fear. We can't, all be hermits. Life has to go on. So we'll do what we can with what we have. So, well, that's really all I have for you guys this week. This is turning into being a nice beer. And yeah, I'd like to see how this kind of goes along the way here over the next few days. But I hope everybody has had a wonderful day. It's the end of a Wednesday for me. And we'll see you guys on the next one. Happy Homebrew Wednesday, everybody. Take care. Cheers. Have a good night. Yeah, and as this is warmed up, it is all sort of like mellowed into one another. So the spices they're there, but they're sort of a nice accent to this cream ale. So nice job, Wally. Thanks for helping me with collaborating this recipe. Talk to you guys later.